reports of a multi-vehicle motor vehicle accident. Unknown injury.
It was a horrific scene. It was obviously a huge tragedy, but the cleanup and everything was very, very tough.
I feel like my heart is sunken. It's in a place where I've never felt this type of pain before.
Hello everyone, breaking live as we come on the air. I'm reporting from State Police headquarters in Latham, just outside Albany. I'm standing about 40 minutes from the site of that horrific limousine crash in Schoharie. And here's the latest from State Police and the NTSB, revealed in a news conference that ended about 6 minutes ago. Authorities revealing they do have the black box equivalent that records airbag information from that limousine. That, they say, could help to shed light on deceleration. The limo has been examined. There is major front end damage. The engine of that vehicle knocked back past the driver's seat and into the car itself. The NTSB said moments ago this was a high energy impact crash. The investigation still ongoing right now. Forensic investigators working with vehicle experts to examine that limousine very intricately. That is underway. Measurements are underway, and so is information at the scene. Today, authorities flew a drone above that scene at that T intersection in Schoharie, trying to glean more information from the air. At this hour, still no positive identifications coming from authorities on all of the people who died, although family members are stepping forward to reveal that sad news themselves. Full coverage on the way from here in the greater Albany area, but right now back to the studio and Victoria Carmen. Victoria?
Thank you, Michael Benny, for that new information tonight. And we do have extensive team coverage for you. Our Tara Gibbons is live in Amsterdam, where a vigil is planned to remember the victims. Our Mary Keeler is with first responders talking about the toll that comes from working a devastating scene. Dan Messinio is live at SUNY Oswego as the school mourns the loss of a professor. And Stephanie Stanovich talks with the families of victims trying to cope with this sudden heartbreak. But first, let's get right to Weather Authority meteorologist Mike Brookins.
Victoria, a very quiet sky here in central New York. We're looking at some sunshine locally. As far as rainfall, we've actually got a front in the process of cutting through central New York, but you wouldn't know it by this. Falso Service Experts live triple Doppler radar is dry. Any activities being found well up to the north in Canada. Only a very low chance for an isolated shower to the north and northwest of Onondaga County later this evening. We are watching that front slowly progressing to the north and to the east, separating the cool air further to the east and the warm air over western New York. In fact, it was a record-tying temperature today in Buffalo, and we are going to be nearing records over the next 2 afternoons. Our temperature right now at the airport, 71. It is 77 downtown. Look at this, lower 80s in the Finger Lakes, Seneca Falls at 82, but that front has yet to move into Oneida County. Notice they're stuck in the 60s. So your on-the-go forecast, we're going to call it generally quiet and dry, variably cloudy, meaning partly to mostly cloudy. So your emojis on the happy side there. It's mild and humid, a very low chance for a shower popping up. 70 degrees this evening. As I mentioned, near records the next couple of days. We've also got an active tropics going on with the latest of a new Hurricane Michael coming on up in the 7-day forecast. Victoria?
Thank you, Mike. At 5 o'clock, here are the top 5 stories on CBS 5.
Storm surge, rain, floods, we can see tornadoes. So you've got to follow the weather, you got to listen when they say they're to evacuate, you have got to evacuate.
The governor of Florida warns neighbors to prepare to leave as Hurricane Michael moves closer. It's expected to be a dangerous hurricane when it reaches the Florida Panhandle on Wednesday. Tonight, President Trump will hold a formal swearing-in ceremony for Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. A 50-48 vote Saturday made the Maryland judge the 114th U.S. Supreme Court Justice. Kavanaugh was sworn in a private ceremony following this weekend's Senate vote. Tonight's ceremony is scheduled for 7:30 in the East Room of the White House. Right now, a 4th donor drive is underway for the Manlius police sergeant battling an aggressive cancer. Ken Hatter has been battling non-Hodgkin's lymphoma for 11 years and desperately needs a bone marrow transplant to save his life. The drive runs until 8 o'clock at the Cicero Fire Department on Brewerton Road. It's likely Hatter might also need a stem cell transplant, which also requires a donor. Looking ahead, Olympic gold medalist Ali Raceman will be in Syracuse tomorrow, speaking at the Salvation Army's annual Civic Celebration Luncheon. Awards will be given out to winners who are doing the most good in the community. About 1,000 people are expected to attend the event at the On Center. A memorial continues to grow after a 19-year-old is stabbed to death in Syracuse. Police say 19-year-old Christopher Hickey was stabbed in the chest during a fight with someone he knew. It happened yesterday morning on North State Street. No arrests have been made. Major developments in the tragic crash in Schoharie. The company that provided the limo had repeatedly failed motor vehicle inspections, and the driver did not have a proper license. Now, this is according to state officials and federal transportation records. Let's get the facts first on CBS 5 News at 5. Schoharie is about 2 hours east of Syracuse, just outside the Albany area. The crash happened just before 2 Saturday afternoon. Investigators say the limo failed to stop at an intersection on Route 30 and continued into the parking lot of the Apple Barrel Country Store, slamming into a parked SUV. Authorities say the vehicle from Prestige Limousine Chauffeur Service was carrying a group to a birthday party. All 18 people in that limo were killed, including the driver. 2 bystanders also died. Governor Cuomo was working to get a cease and desist order to stop Prestige Limousine Chauffeur Service from doing business until the NTSB's investigation is complete. And we just learned Brian Hugh, an assistant professor of geology at SUNY Oswego, was among the victims. His family confirms that to us. Hugh was an assistant professor of geology who started at the school in 2016 as a visiting professor. SUNY Oswego says counseling services will be available this week in the Walker Health Center. This is breaking right now. CBS 5's Michael Benny is with the Live Eye at State Police headquarters in Latham tonight.
Victoria, thank you. I want to point one thing out. It's about something you just mentioned. You say the governor's office issued that cease and desist order for the limousine company that was involved in this deadly crash in Schoharie. We've also just learned moments ago that state police have seized at least 3 vehicles from the limousine company. They don't want any of those vehicles on the road, and taking no chances, they have pulled those vehicles from the road and say that the company is at this point cooperating with the investigation. There's also a bit of grim news coming to us from Albany Medical Center. That's where the bodies of all of the victims are right now. We're told that the autopsies are still underway, a full day after they started. They are about 3/4 of the way done with that work. Meantime, we know now that it is very clear the driver of the limousine on Saturday is clearly a major focus of the investigation. We've learned he didn't have the appropriate license. If there are 15 or more seats in a bus or a limousine, that is a different classification of license that will be issued by the state. Still no names or positive identifications coming from state police on this, although we do know that the victims in the limousine were texting and active on social media during their ride from the Schoharie area, planning to continue to a brewery in Cooperstown. State police just wrapped up a news conference before we came on the air. Here's some of what was revealed by authorities moments ago.
All the information we can get is critical. The black box information, the crime scene investigation, interviews, text messages, photos, anything we can find, we'll put together the full picture to find out if there's some criminal culpability on the part of anyone.
On the federal side of this investigation, team members with the National Transportation Safety Board, yesterday for them was basically a travel day, some of them coming from as far as Seattle, Washington. The full team now here on the ground just outside the Albany area. They got to work in earnest today, but could be here throughout the week. Our team coverage continues here on CBS 5 News at 5 o'clock with CBS 5's Tara Gibbons. She's with the Live Eye in Amsterdam right now.
Good evening, Michael. Yes, we're here in Amsterdam. That's about 30 minutes from the crash site. Now, we're told that some of the victims in the crash were from here, and organizers say they're expecting thousands of people to be on this bridge for the visual tonight, holding candles, remembering the lives lost. Now, tonight will be a chance for community members to grieve and to rely on each other for support during this tragic time. Assemblyman Santa Barbara says this is a small city where generations of families lived. They're all sharing in the pain from this loss.
That's what adds to the grief. It just makes it so difficult. It has shocked the city, has devastated everybody in this city, and it's going to be some trying times ahead.
We're told there will be singing and speakers here tonight to reflect on the victims who have died. For now, reporting live in Amsterdam, I'm Terry Gibbons.
Thank you, Tara. Well, Aaron and Shane McGowan were also killed in the crash. They just got married in June. The New York Times reports that Aaron worked at St. Mary's Hospital in Amsterdam and was studying for her master's degree in special education. We have much more coming up on this limo tragedy. At 5:19, the impact on first responders who worked in a horrific scene. And at 5:35, we're learning more about some of the victims, including a SUNY Oswego professor. At 6:07, the families of other victims in the Rochester and Watertown areas open up about their losses. And so many lives cut short in that limo crash over the weekend. It strikes the hearts of members of the SUNY Oswego community tonight, how the school is remembering one of their own. Plus, they're the first ones to arrive for help. Emergency workers tell us how responding to tragic scenes like this one in Schoharie have lasting effects.
A fair sky in Syracuse at the Stanley Law Sky Watch Adirondack Furniture Camera on this Monday evening, and we're looking rather quiet but warm over the next couple of days. We're going to focus in on Hurricane Michael. The computer models showing the storm headed towards Florida. We're going to have the latest on when this could make impact and exactly where, and also talk about if the rain from this will eventually land in central New York.